Hey, and welcome, Uncle Richie, coming at you live. High noon on a Thursday, week 2 of the NFL season kickoff. 2:30 today, high noon, Hawaiian time, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean where the palm trees sway. 2:20 kickoff, Hawaiian time. This is Thursday, September 14th. Favorite months of the year, favorite time of the year, September, October. Got a decent show today. Decently great, I hope. This is the Spirit of Sports. We're talking sports, we're talking life, and we're mostly talking NFL all day, all the time. NCAA football is kicked into gear and just don't follow it like I used to. Major League Baseball, we'll talk more about that as the playoffs arrive, especially during playoff time. Go Dodgers. Go Beavers. But for now, it's pretty much all NFL, all of the time. The Spirit of Sports, Uncle Richie, brought to you by notpods.com. Still coming soon. I do own it. We'll start working on that shortly. Going to be a cool website, but all my time and energy is on the radio show, which is YouTube at Notpods, Notpods, one word, because I am not a podcast. I am a live internet radio sports talk show, live internet radio station. I do sports talk. Anybody wants to come in, talk about politics, UFOs, Bigfoot, presidential races, anything anybody else would like to talk about, give me a shout. We'll figure out you can do it right out of your own living room. And that is the plan. That's why you will be paying 51 cents a week at some point. I'm giving myself 1 year. I have the Prego jar lid. I think I have told you plenty when I was cooking. And on the Prego jar, it said expiration date, August 15th, 2024. And I said to myself, that's my expiration date on my job. Because by then, this will be my career. I'm trying to have no doubts about it. I'm being very positive, putting it out there. I'm putting in the time and the energy, every waking moment, all NFL. So Thursday's show is we do my picks, NFL, with and without the spreads and the over-unders, and we will review. We did the JFK versus Uncle Richie versus Emalani. Did the picks yesterday where I flip a coin. It's a 50-cent piece with JFK on it. And I'm going to go the whole season and see how a coin does versus my 6-year-old daughter versus me. Last week was JFK went 8-8 the coin. I went 10-6. These are straight, no spreads, and Emalani went 6-10. I actually went 11-5 last week with spreads. So if I could keep that up, imagine how rich we would all be. Anyway, we're going to do a little bit of Thursday night football preview. We're going to do some takeaways, more takeaways from Sunday. I'm going to give some big name QBs their grades, and some are not real good. I remember Mr. Hawkins in 7th and 8th grade. We had him for English and social studies. English was 2 periods. So we had him for 3 periods, almost must be like 2 hours plus every morning in 7th and 8th grade. Mr. Hawkins, a little deformed. He had kind of crooked arms, and he was a little bald man. The best teacher I ever had. Still know how to talk good English because of him. I speak good English. But what was I getting at? I don't know. Dang. Losing my track. For some reason, though, Mr. Hawkins was awesome. Oh, I'm a tough grader. That's why he was 94 to 100% was an A. I believe 86 to 94% was a B. 78 to 86 was a C, and so forth. And if you got a 93.6, 93.9 average, you got a B. This guy was a stickler. He would always joke too. You want an A for the day? Go ahead, because in my class, in my teacher book, A means absent. So that was always his joke. You get an A for the day. You can have an A for the day. Absent. Guy was a stickler. Taught us so much so, and I think anybody that went through Tillamook Junior High in the 70s and 80s was by far your favorite teacher and probably the best teacher in the history of mankind. So shout out to Mr. Hawkins. He passed when I was maybe a sophomore in high school. This is Uncle Richie. This is not pod. You'll notice that the screen is blank because this is not a podcast. This is live internet radio. And I'm doing live internet sports talk radio. I saw yesterday was a good one on Good Morning Football. And they asked the crew, what podcast would you want to go on? And, they said this and that. And they showed Jason McCourty was on Not Pause. It was cats interviewing him. Not Pods, Not Paused. I don't know. But the cats were interviewing him, and it was funny, and it was pretty cool. And so they were asking, what would you want to go on? And I remember Kyle Brandt says, you know what? No podcast, because he always asks me, and it's going to be an hour, then I got to stay, and then they do the funny stuff, and I don't look that good, and I got to stay longer, and they want to do recap, and they might call me again. I don't want any podcasts. I should call them and say, bro, this is not pods. This is not a podcast. This is live internet radio. And I'll only keep you for 10 minutes. I was thinking one day, and it's going to be sooner than later, I will have interviews with famous people. But I think I'm going to start. Looks like Uncle Raz isn't going to be able to commit to Wednesdays. But I'm trying to get Eric Carroll, my Kentucky boy, maybe come talk on Wednesdays. I need Wednesdays. I need talk story with Uncle Richie. Anybody out there can call in as well. Anybody want to join me? It's a slow process. I look at this 0 and 1 and 0 people watching, and I'm at 70. I'm at 70 subscriptions, and it's been about 45 days. I'm not worried about it. Something's going to pop. Slow and steady. Never lost a race. Don't stop running. I'm a fool for the chase. Play the game. Surrender to me. Any Def Leppard fans? You got me coming under fire. So that is my goal. This is my life, and I will make this happen. Let's move forward. These are my picks for the NFL. Week 2. Let's go without the spreads first. And we did the Emalani or JFK versus Emalani versus Uncle Richie. And of course, I don't have it set up. That's okay. We'll do it later because we did do that yesterday. Oh, here we are. So first game, JFK and Uncle Richie at Philadelphia. Emmy goes Minnesota. JFK with Atlanta. Uncle Richie and Emmy go Green Bay. It doesn't matter. I don't need to read all these off. We have one that we're all the same, which is Detroit over Seattle. We have Indy over Houston, all the same. We have Dallas over New York Jets, all the same. We have Cleveland over Pittsburgh. That's about the only ones we have all the same. I'm going to go into, these are my week 2 picks. with the spreads, 11-5 last week. Pretty proud of myself. I wouldn't say take this to Vegas, but I would say that I put in the work and I go some numbers and some gut feeling and some eye test, and I come up with what I got. First game tonight, starting in about 2 hours, kickoff. Minnesota at Philly. I'm going Minnesota with the 7. These are the spreads that I put them in. It was on, I believe, Tuesdays I do them, and then I do the show on Thursday. So these were the points on Tuesday that if I was gambling, that's when I would put them in. I'm not putting money on. I have 6 fantasy leagues, and I have a pick'em pool and 2 survivor pools. I'm not a parlay guy. I'm not an individual game guy. But I do have my predictions, and I let you guys know. I'd be up $600 if I'd put $100 a week last week. I'd be up 500. So I'm going to go Minnesota +7 at Philly. Minnesota coming off a loss. Philly, I just looked at the numbers. New England was dominated. Takeaways, yardage, time of possession. It's just the quick 16 points early is what cost them. Mac Jones looked quite a bit better than Hurts. We'll get into that later on my QB grades. Green Bay -1. That I hear that is flip-flopped to Atlanta. I'm still taking Green Bay at Atlanta. I just think they're well coached. Just the fact that Smith says, or no, what's his name? Atlanta says he doesn't like fantasy football, and I'm going to give Algier all these carries, even though he drafted a guy 7th. Screw that. It's irritating. So I got Green Bay. Raiders at the Bills. Raiders +9.5. That's just a lot of points. I think Bills will handle them, but I think the Raiders will keep it within 10. So I'm going Raiders. Baltimore at Cincy. Cincy, 3.5-point favorite. So I'm going to go Baltimore. They both looked not great last week, Cincy in particular. And this is their MO, Cincy. I think they started 0-2 last year, and they were maybe 2-4 or 1-3 or something. So when Burrow doesn't play every preseason, it's always going to take 2 to 3 weeks. And this is a time to get Cincy. So I'm going to take Baltimore. I actually took them to win outright as well. So I take Philly to win outright, but I'll take Minnesota with the spread. Green Bay to win outright and give the point. Buffalo to win outright, but take Vegas with the 9.5. And I got Baltimore outright and give them the 3.5. Seattle +6 at Detroit. I got Detroit outright, but I will take Seattle with the points. Pete Carroll's teams usually don't look that bad back to back. And is this coming back down to earth for Geno? What's the outlier, last week or last year? I didn't really trust last year, but I don't think it's as bad as last week. Detroit coming off a high, and I don't see a letdown. I do have them winning outright, but 6 points is a lot. I'll take Seattle with the points. Chargers at Tennessee. Tough call. I take the Chargers straight up. I like Tennessee with 3 points. Tannehill, what's going on? Did he just age that much? Terrible game, Tannehill, last week. 3 picks. 16 for 3,498 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 picks. Ugly. He'll be in my grading system, you can imagine. So we'll go Tennessee with +3. I don't know. That's a tough one. Chargers. defensive coach, and their defense is terrible, and they spend all their money on defense. And they got their new offensive coordinator, and they look pretty. I mean, they scored 34 points. You should win, right? How are you going to score 34 points and lose? With a defensive coach, that guy should have been gone. Should have never been hired. Brandon Staley, I'm sorry. Should have been gone. Should be Sean Payton there sitting pretty. And now you're stuck still struggling with this freaking guy. Sean Payton struggling with Russell Wilson. Was a marriage made in heaven, and of course, a Spanos family. They don't do much right, do they? Moving on. Chicago at Tampa. I've lost faith in Chicago. I really thought they were going to be decent. I don't know. I think I'm done with Chicago. And definitely taking Tampa straight up. I had Chicago over the 7.5 just a week before the season, just a week ago. I don't know if they're going to win 5 games now. Prove me wrong, Chicago. I'm taking Tampa straight up and Tampa -3. KC at Jacksonville. Revenge for themselves. I got KC straight up and lay the points. Indy -1 at Houston. Indy straight up and give Houston the points. I'm telling you, AR5, Anthony Richardson. That guy is maturing before our eyes. He makes some good throws. That guy is a strong runner, big bully on the block. I really like what Indy's doing. San Fran, -7 at the Rams. They were -8. So I'm taking San Fran straight up, but I'll take the 8 points with the Rams. That offense looks pretty good. Stafford healthy. Couple brand new targets. I think San Fran beats them, but it's going to be keep it within 8. Got the Giants at Arizona. I take Zona. Oh my goodness, my friend, we're in a survivor pool and we're kind of talking things out. He's going Giants. I can't change now. I'm going Zona straight up and give me the 4.5 points. Even though Daboll, you know what? It's not too late. I'm switching that. I'll take Zona straight up. Give me the Giants with 4.5. Giving 4.5. So Zona to keep it close. Giants to win. Jets at Dallas. Dallas straight up and give the 3.5. It was 3.5. It's up to 8.5 now. Wow. I got it at 3.5. 8.5 would be tough, but definitely take Dallas. But, Jets could come and just beat them. That defense is that good. I really think Zach Wilson has matured. Just do away with the dumb turnovers. I love his new attitude. So much more mature. So much more composed behind the mic. I really think that they'll be in okay hands. I think Aaron Rodgers will be around the building in his ear. Just another coach. So it could be an upset. And I think for a survivor, I think a lot of people are going to have Dallas. I'll be rooting for the Jets, but in my heart, go Jets. But with my mind, I'll take Dallas straight up and give the 3.5 that I got on Tuesday. Even though I'm doing the show on Thursday, I place my bets on Tuesday if I was a gambling man like that. Maybe I should just do these on Tuesday so you guys have more time. If you want to hear, I should probably do that. Tuesday show. That's what he said. That's what he said. That could wait. Oh, no, that's what he said we need. Under the hood could wait. We could do fantasy studs and duds. Okay. Might have to change up the schedule a little bit. This might be better segment for Tuesdays. Moving on. Ramble on, Richie. Washington at Denver. Denver given 3.5. I'll take Denver straight up, but I'll take the 3.5. Denver to smidge by Washington. Miami at New England. I'm going Miami straight up and Miami -2. They say Belichick always takes away your one thing that's your best. I don't know if anybody can guard this guy, Tyreek Hill. I called 2,000 yards 3 weeks ago. It's one of my prediction shows. I don't know. Double team him. His pattern running, his route running patterns, his stop on the dime, his speed, his burst. If I'm even, I'm leaving. I don't think the guy's guardable. He doesn't think he's guardable. Getting the ball in his hands is electric. I only have him in one fantasy league. It's really the only chance I really had. I don't know. Maybe he should have been a first overall pick. So I'll take Miami -2 and straight up. Monday Night Football doubleheader. New Orleans at Carolina. I got New Orleans straight up, and I will give the 3 points. I think Carolina is going to be could be a little painful, growing pain type of season. And I'm not sure little guy can stay healthy. Bryce Young he looks small. So we got New England both ways. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. I'm going to read the hype. I believe in the hype. Cleveland straight up, and I will give the 1.5. I mean, I got Pickens in a bunch. Probably rooting for Pittsburgh. Don't really like Massage Watson, but like I said, this is gut feeling, eye test, and numbers. So those are my picks straight up and with the spread for week 2. This is Uncle Richie, the Spirit of Sports, brought to you by NotPods. YouTube TV at NotPods, notpods.com coming soon. Let's go to over-unders. Minnesota at Philly, under 48.5. Could be some weather. There's a hurricane over there. Both QBs. Actually, Cousins look pretty good. Over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Hurts. I think just it takes offense. Didn't we say unders early in the season? I think they were 10 games went under last week, I believe. Let me check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 11 games went under. I just think offenses take a little more time to gel than defenses. So 48.5, that's a lot. Going under Minnesota. Green Bay at Atlanta, over 40.5. These guys got 6 touchdowns in them. Although I don't really trust Atlanta quarterback, but just run the ball. The hell's his name? Homer Smith. Arthur Smith. Guy's weird, but he's going to run the crap out of the ball. Vegas at the Bills, 47.5. I'm going under. Once again, weather. Vegas D's getting better. I don't see Allen turning it over 4 times, but I like the under. Baltimore at Cincy, 46.5, under. Seattle at Detroit. $48.5, going under. Chargers at Tennessee, 45.5, under. Chicago, Tampa Bay, 41, under. KC at Jacksonville, 51, over. Indy at Houston, 39.5, over. Wow, I guess so. San Fran at the Rams, 44.5 over. Giants at Arizona, 40 under. Jets at Dallas, 38.5 under. Two great Ds, Wilson and Dak. Washington at Denver, 38.5 under. I'm going to finish with 3 overs. Miami at New England, 47.5 over. Saints at Carolina, 40 over. And Cleveland at Pittsburgh, 40 go over. So you have my picks, my spreads, my over under. I will be keeping track all year. I got to get a pro that does every single pick. I got Nick Wright does 3 a week of his choice. I do 4 of my choice, and Colin Cowherd does his blazing 5. So I will get to those probably that'll be after. That'll probably be next Monday. Backseat quarterback. You know, I want to do just a few QB grades. Mac Jones is a B and Hurts got a C Sunday. Josh Allen with 4 turnovers and lose the game and not getting out of bounds and jumping and putting your shoulder down. Give the guy an F. I'm sick of his crap. You know, throw the 3 picks. Fumble the ball. Get the hell out of bounds. You're not doing anybody any favors trying to get an extra yard to prove that you're tough. I know it's wired in your brain. Unwire. That's what a defensive coach does too. I don't know. Guy's freaking irritating. Joe Burrow, D, 82 yards. The only reason not an F because I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass due to missing the whole offseason. Deshaun Watson, C. Ritter in Atlanta, I think the guy's a D. It's like a Mariota wet Nerf ball. How does Drake London have 0 catches? Tannehill, F. 170 yards and 3 picks. Pickett, D. Rookies, C. Except for AR. I'll give AR a B. I'll give Russ Wilson a B. Herbert gets a C. Tua an A. Stafford an A. Jordan Love, B. That's just some of them. I just wanted to throw that out there. Remember, I did my terrible, decent, good, pretty good, and great, and there was 7 terrible and 2 great QB performances. There were 16 terrible and not good. Half the league was either terrible or not good. And I know that's going to change. I think that just might be for future years. Week 1, go under on yards, go under on scores. I think you can make a lot of money on week 1. Probably bleeds into week 2 as well. Let's talk a little bit of survivor pool strategy. Whew. I had Minnesota. Tampa was my number 1 week 1 before the season. I changed it last week. I went Washington. Get them out of the way. That was a nail biter. This is a $25,000 survivor pool. 250 people at $100. Me and a friend are collaborating a little bit. Don't tell anybody. So we both went Washington. For week 2, I had Heat and my friends going Giants at Zona. I'm a little nervous. I kind of like Philly tonight, but you like to save Philly. And Minnesota's going to be a little pumped up. I have my list before the season started. I really did like Chicago. Now, can't take Chicago. So I'm going Buffalo. Denver versus Washington. Denver at home. Possibility. I don't want to trust them this early, though. And I think Buffalo's going to have issues down the road. So I'm going Buffalo, and my boy's going Giants, and hopefully we move on. So 240 some people, and I think like 50 are out due to Minnesota, a little bit of KC, a little bit of Seattle. So we lost like almost 20% in 1 week. It's a pretty cool pool. It's $25,000 to the winner ish. Well, 23 something, and then $2,000 to the charity of your choice. So I think that's great. Then down the road, just a little looking ahead, Dallas at Zona week 3, Saints at Tampa, or home for Tampa, or Chargers home for Vegas week 4. Week 5, Atlanta home for Houston, Green Bay at Vegas. Something to look forward to. But I'm going to say my 3 big ones this week would be Buffalo, Philly, and the Giants if you're in a survivor pool. Good luck with that out there, all you people. Thanks for my one person that just barely clicked on. Not disgruntled. I'm just doing my practice. I will be here every day. It's a snowball effect, slow burn, grassroots marketing. You tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends. I know what it's going to be is it's going to take a big interview with someone. And I'll start putting the feelers out, and I'll start making requests. But one day, especially if they're on vacation, they come over to the house. I think I got to make the spare room into a studio. I think that's the key. So I do have a spare room that the kid rarely uses. I could put a smaller bed in there. And Milani, make it the studio. This is not pods, not a podcast, live internet radio station. So dress the part, look the part, be the part. Okay, love you all. Be better. Love yourself first and foremost. Try to forgive, try to love everybody. We're all in this together. People have their issues. Their issues are not your issues. You only have your issues. You're in control of your issues. And just remember, it takes a village to raise an idiot. Ahuyo.